Okay. Now, I actually had skipped all the properties of these algorithms. The first, breadth first, as well as uniform cost search. The reason behind that is I wanted them to be discussed together. Now, we'll first discuss properties of depth first search. Is it complete? So, yes, last lecture we said that there were four properties based on which we can compare various uninformed as well as informed search algorithms. One was completeness, the other one was optimality, third one was time complexity, and the fourth one was space complexity. Out of these four, time and space complexity are known to us. Time complexity means the amount of time required uh, to get the goal node. Space complexity is on an average how much space I require to get to the goal node. So we'll find that for the depth first search, the time complexity is b raised to m, and b is the maximum branching factor, and m is the shallowest goal node. Okay, so O of b raised to m, that is order of b raised to m, means the time complexity of this algorithm is not bigger than b raised to m. Okay, so this is raised to, this is not bm. Please understand that this is raised to. Okay, it doesn't look like a power, but it is power, b raised to m. Okay, so if m is large, then than the d, uh, this algorithm is going to fare very badly. Okay, if solutions are dense, many may be much faster than the breadth first search. Okay, that's another thing. Dense means there are the branching factor is more. Dense solution means there are branching factor more. Then this algorithm could perform better. As far as time complexity is concerned, space complexity is b into m. B is branching factor, m is the shallowest solution. So b into m is the linear one. Okay, it's a linear thing. So as m increases, it is no much change in the order of space complexity of this algorithm. So as far as space complexity is concerned, depth first search algorithm seems good. So problem for which I have large branching factor and the nodes are deep enough, I would prefer depth first search over the other algorithms. Now, one important drawback of depth first search algorithm is it is not an optimal. It does not give you an optimal solution just because it is kind of committing too much into one direction of the solution. Now, why I'm saying that? Say, suppose I have one solution here in this side of the tree, which may be called as G1, and there is another solution, say here, G2. Okay, I'm assuming that one is at the depth 2 on the left subtree, and on the right subtree of the initial state, there is a solution at depth level 1. Now, G2 is obviously a shallow solution than G1, and if for this problem, taking one step is equivalent to the cost paid. In that scenario, in this particular scenario, you will find that reaching G1 you require 2 hops, reaching G2 you require 1 hop. That means cost to reach G1 is higher than G2. I'm assuming that I consume equal cost for every action. Okay, that's an assumption. In such problems, I would always get G1 as solution first by depth first search, then G2. क्योंकि G1 लेफ्ट सब ट्री में है तो वो पहले एक्सप्लोर होगा और वो पहले आइडेंटिफाई होगा देन G2. Hence, my algorithm is going to stop when it reaches G1, and it has given me a solution which is requiring me to pay cost of 2 units, whereas G2 was a better solution which required only me to pay a cost of 1 unit. The 2 unit is obviously larger cost. Larger cost means a suboptimal solution. So depth first search many a times may give you suboptimal solutions in many scenarios. So I can say that it is not always an optimal solution technique. It does not give you optimal solution in all cases. Second thing, as far as completeness of the algorithm is concerned, so that property is also important. What do you mean by completeness? If the solution exists, my algorithm should bring me the solution. That is, the search algorithm should lend me the solution if the solution exists in the state space. But what if the state space is infinite? That is, there is a loop in the state space, then depth first search might get attracted in that direction. So the direction in which depth first search is exploring, if in that direction itself the state space is growing infinite, then what will happen? You will never return from that side of the tree, because you go in the सब ट्री और वो infinite सब ट्री अगर है तो आप उसी डायरेक्शन में ग्रो होते रहोगे. ट्री will keep on growing in that direction and you will never halt. Okay, you'll keep on searching for the solution, and that's a very big problem and very big risk as far as applying or using depth first search in a scenario or in a state space where there is a possibility of loops. So why are loops there in the state space search problem? Because many a times the actions are reversible. Just like in the configuration puzzles like 8 puzzle, you can repeat your actions. That is, I can make the space go up and then commit down again just after it. So my steps are just reversible. In such problems, I may actually land into a scenario where the tree is keeping on growing in a particular direction where I'm navigating, and hence I never reach a solution. Whereas the solution might still be there if I don't follow that particular direction. Okay, so that's the reason depth first search is not called as an optimal, is not a complete algorithm either. So these two properties are kind of, you can consider, drawbacks of depth first search. One is it is not complete, because if it keeps on searching in the infinite depth spaces, then it can keep looping around and will never get to the solution node. That's a problem, but it's not always a case. Okay, but there is a chance, and there is a fair bit of chance, and many real world problems are where you have reversible actions which may lead to an infinite loop, probably. Next thing is, the optimality criteria does not satisfy. It may occasionally give you suboptimal results because it is committing its efforts in one single direction. You may get a solution at a deeper level in the tree, which may be high in the cost in many scenarios. So please understand, I'm not saying that it always is going to give you suboptimal results and it is always going to be incomplete. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it is not always complete and it is not always optimal. So that these are the drawbacks of depth first search. We go back and we'll see the issues or these same properties with respect to the uniform cost search, and before that the breadth first search. So now breadth first search algorithm, if you see the space complexity, it is b raised to d plus 1. So the space complexity here is an exponential one, and hence you have a higher space requirement when it comes to using breadth first search. So breadth first search जब आप use करते हो तो आपका space requirement बढ़ जाता है. As far as time requirement is concerned, it is big O of b raised to d plus 1. Again, it's an exponential. So time is also a factor which is not addressed in the breadth first search. So both the factors, time as well as space, they are of the order b raised to d plus 1. Especially the concern more is space complexity, because the time complexity as such can be handled through using some sort of faster device or something like that, but space complexity should also be considered as a kind of issue with breadth first search. You need to keep a lot of unexplored node in your fringe list, and remember that the fringe list is getting accumulated into your primary memory. So it is going to get used more and more memory when you are doing breadth first search. Now, is it an optimal algorithm? Yes, breadth first search is optimal if cost is equal to 1 per step. That is, the cost along the tree is based on the one action, so 1 unit per action. Then it is going to give you an optimal solution, because it will, since it is exploring the shallowest node first, it will get you the shallowest goal node. It is exploring shallowest node first, so it will give you the shallowest goal node. And if the cost per step is 1 unit per action, that is, per step means per action is 1 unit, then you are going to get an optimal solution always. You need to rest assured about it. As far as completeness is concerned, if B, that is the branching factor, is finite, so because there could be problems where the branching factor might not be consistent, and if that's the problem, that the branching factor is infinite, then you are doomed, because you will first see that level. और अगर branching factor infinite है तो यानी infinite actions possible है. I will never stop looking at one level, so I can't go to next level. Maybe this infinite level, infinitely branched level may not have a goal node, but some other deep level has the goal. I never reach that goal. That's the problem. But if the branching factor is finite, you will some point in the search complete the navigation of that particular level, and you can reach to the some other node as the goal node in some other deep levels. So that is why the algorithm is complete if B is finite. So if B is finite, that is the branching factor is finite, and if the cost per action is fixed to a constant value, then it is optimal. Okay, space is a bigger concern for breadth first search than the time. So time and space दोनों exponential है, order exponential है दोनों का, लेकिन space is a more concern to the algorithm than the time. So this is how we can consider the properties of breadth first search. Now uniform cost search, since we are maintaining a priority, and it is going to be complete if step cost is always greater than equal to epsilon, where epsilon is some positive integer. That is what is the property of uniform cost search. As far as time complexity is concerned, number of nodes with the cost less than equal to the cost of optimal solution, then B raised to ceiling C star slash E. So now how you reach at this expression, that is not going to be asked anywhere. So please remember that कि ये कोई पूछने नहीं वाला है कि ये एक्सप्रेशन कैसे इवैल्यूएट होता है, एटलीस्ट फॉर दिस सब्जेक्ट के एग्जाम में 7 सेम AI सब्जेक्ट एग्जामिनेशन, even the orals, nobody is going to ask you how you arrived at O of B raised to ceiling. Ceiling means the ceil function, C star slash epsilon. It's a ratio, right? So we are just ceiling it. So we are finding out the smallest integer greater than the ratio. So C star epsilon is a ratio. Ceiling function से हम लोग ऐसा smallest integer identify करेंगे जो ये ratio से बड़ा है. That is what we are doing. And if you have seen, it was B D plus 1, where I just will tell you what was B because that's important. Depth of the least cost solution. Okay, and M was the maximum depth of the state space. So M is larger, D is smaller. Okay, so D is smaller, and if I see the your time complexity of breadth first search, it is order of B raised to D plus 1. Okay, that's okay. What is C star? The cost of optimal solution. It is going to give you always optimal solution, and its time complexity is much better than even the breadth first search. ये याद रखो. Its time and space complexity are much better than breadth first search. Okay, you will use uniform cost search over breadth first search whenever the problem that you are solving involves you to consider the cost dimension as well, the path cost dimension as well when you are solving it. Okay, and whenever there is a variable amount of cost used in the problem's definition, यानी एक एक्शन का कॉस्ट अलग है, दूसरे कॉस्ट अलग है, तो ऐसे सिनेरियो में अच्छा होगा to apply uniform cost search, because then uniform cost search should try to give you an optimal solution if the node expanded in an increasing order of the path cost. Okay, that's an important thing. Okay, so ये consideration बहुत important है. Again, nobody is going to ask you how these things are arrived at. इसलिए मैं भी ये discuss नहीं करने वाला. Jump to in categories of problems. So what we have done so far in the discussion today is we looked at uninformed search techniques, which are blind search technique. They rely on the definition of the problem and they do not take any extra information from the problem domain to solve the problem. Okay, they rely on the definition of problem. And there are three major techniques or three important techniques in this category: breadth first search, uniform cost search, depth first search. Majorly, they differ in the way we maintain the fringe list. Breadth first search, we maintain it as a queue. Uniform cost search, we maintain it as a priority queue. Depth first search, we maintain it as a stack. Depth first search is good with respect to the time complexity, but it has space complexity, but it has an issue with respect to time complexity. It is exponential time. Uniform cost again, it has an exponential time complexity as well as space complexity, but in the breadth first search, more issue is space complexity compared to time complexity. And when I compare breadth first search with depth first search, obviously DFS will have smaller space complexity compared to depth first search on an average. Okay, but breadth first search scores good as it has a larger chance of being complete and optimal. And as a search algorithm, we are interested in these properties also. Whether the algorithm gives me the solution when the solution exists, that is completeness. And optimality means if there are multiple solutions for the problem, do I get the optimal solution always? Now, we may use version of breadth first search where we also take into account the the cost, path cost, when we are maintaining the queue as a priority criteria. Then we will always be getting a complete optimal algorithm that will always be better compared to the breadth first search in terms of time and space complexity. Although still it is exponential only, but it is of a lesser degree than otherwise the algorithm could be. Okay.